Disclaimer. Names, locations, and certain details in this story have been changed to protect the privacy of everyone involved. Listen until the end. The final twist will stay with you for a long time. It happened far from land, somewhere between the dark emptiness of the Pacific and the thin line of starlight above it. Ethan Cole had no idea that within minutes his life would split into before and after, and that he would spend 18 hours alone in the open ocean, surrounded by sharks, freezing water, and a silence that felt almost supernatural. It started during a night shift aboard the cargo ship Silver Horizon. Ethan had worked at sea for 8 years, but nothing could have prepared him for that night. The ship moved steadily across calm waters, and the crew, only 20 people, were scattered around the deck, half asleep, half bored. Around 2:40 a.m., Ethan stepped outside to check a loose rope he'd been noticing earlier. He wasn't supposed to be alone, but routine always makes you careless. The sky was pitch black, except for a slice of moonlight dissolving into the waves. Then the ship turned. Just a small shift of the rudder, just a few degrees, but enough to send the deck tilting under Ethan's feet. His hand slipped off the wet railing. He fell sideways, and suddenly the world dropped out from under him. No splash loud enough for anyone to hear, no scream that could fight against the roar of the engine, just cold water, blackness, and the horrifying realization that the ship was sailing away at full speed. Ethan came up gasping, choking on ocean water. The glowing lights of the Silver Horizon were already shrinking, already too far away. He shouted until his voice cracked, but the ship kept moving, slipping into darkness like nothing had happened. He was alone. The first hour, the panic. When people drown, it usually happens in the first 10 minutes. Panic kills quickly. Ethan knew that, so he forced himself to breathe, slow, controlled, almost mechanical. His muscles trembled from shock. The water was cold enough to paralyze him if he didn't stay calm. He looked around, nothing but black waves, no land, no lights, no sound. The ocean at night is not water, it's a void. Then he heard the first splash. A heavy one, too heavy to be a fish. Ethan didn't turn toward it at first. He didn't want to know, but instinct forced him to look. A dorsal fin cut through the water about 20 meters away. A shark, maybe 2. Every survival instinct he ever had detonated at once. His heartbeat felt like it could heat the entire ocean. He started kicking slowly. Too fast would look like panic, too slow would look like prey. But sharks don't care about logic, they care about opportunity. And right now, Ethan was the definition of opportunity. Hours 2-8, the fight for hope. The night dragged on. Ethan alternated between floating and treading water, conserving every ounce of strength. He tried not to think about the sharks that circled him now and then, sometimes visible, sometimes not. He kept his eyes on the stars, using them like anchors for his sanity. Around dawn, the situation got worse. The sun revealed the silhouettes under the water. More fins, bigger shadows, the kind of shapes that make your stomach drop into the deepest parts of the ocean. He tried to pray, but couldn't remember a single line. He tried to shout, but no voice came out. All he had left was stubbornness, a raw refusal to die. By the 8th hour, dehydration set in. Salt water burned his lips. His tongue felt like sandpaper. The sun was rising fast, turning the surface of the ocean into a boiling mirror. His skin started to peel. His muscles twitched uncontrollably. Yet he kept going. Hour 12, the hallucinations. The human brain is not built for isolation in the vastness of open water. Ethan began to see things, shapes, reflections, faces he knew weren't real.
At one point, he swore he saw his sister on a small boat calling his name. He swam toward her until he realized the image wasn't real. He cried then, not loudly, just a silent, exhausted cry that blended with the waves. The sharks sensed his weakness. One swam close enough for him to feel the pressure wave from its body. Ethan curled his legs, ready to kick, ready to fight with whatever strength he had left. But the shark simply circled him again, almost as if studying him. He had become part of their world now, a guest or a meal. Everything depended on chance. Hour 18, the miracle. When the rescue came, Ethan didn't even see the boat. He only heard a distant rumble, soft at first, then louder. His brain didn't process it as real until he heard shouting, human shouting. A fishing trawler had spotted something unusual floating between the waves. One of the crewmen thought it was a piece of debris. Another thought it was a dead animal. It wasn't. It was Ethan, barely conscious, lips cracked, skin burned, drifting like a ghost. The fisherman pulled him aboard, shocked that he was even alive. When Ethan tried to speak, only one sentence came out clearly. "I didn't want to die. Not like that." Doctors later said his survival bordered on impossible. Most people don't last 6 hours. He lasted 18, through darkness, exhaustion, and predators circling him from below. When asked how he managed to stay alive, Ethan only said, "I kept thinking about the people I hadn't said goodbye to." Call to action. If you made it to the end, you're exactly the kind of person who loves real survival stories. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and leave a comment. What would you do if you were stranded in the ocean at night?